Hi, I'm Dr. Evelyn Harris, and I've spent the last 25 years helping older adults reclaim their health through smarter nutrition. But let me tell you a story that might just surprise you. A few years ago, I was working with a wonderful man named Harold, 72 years old, lively, sharp, and deeply committed to his health. He walked 2 miles every morning, kept his mind sharp with crossword puzzles, and followed what most people would call a perfect diet. Lots of greens, whole grains, and plenty of colorful veggies. On paper, it all looked fantastic. But Harold kept coming to me complaining of fatigue, joint stiffness, and recurring kidney discomfort. At first, I was puzzled, but when we took a closer look at his meals, something unexpected emerged. He was eating massive amounts of kale and spinach daily. I'm talking 2 cups of raw spinach in his smoothies and kale salads for lunch and dinner. Turns out, what was supposed to be helping him was actually hurting him. You see, not all healthy vegetables are created equal, especially for aging bodies. Our metabolism slows, our kidneys work harder, and our digestion becomes more sensitive as we get older. Some vegetables, like kale, spinach, or even potatoes, can backfire if eaten the wrong way or in excess. And Harold wasn't the only one. I've worked with dozens of seniors who were unknowingly sabotaging their health with foods they thought were keeping them young. This might sound strange, even a bit controversial, but trust me, once you understand the why, it all starts to make sense. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 8 most surprising vegetables that might be doing more harm than good, and exactly how to adjust your meals so you still get the nutrients without the negative side effects. If you're over 60, this information could be a total game changer for your energy levels, digestion, joint comfort, and even long-term brain health. Stick with me, because what you're about to learn may flip everything you thought you knew about eating healthy on its head. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait, are you saying spinach and kale aren't good for me? That's exactly the reaction Harold had when I told him. His jaw dropped. This man had been faithfully piling his plate with superfoods for years. And suddenly, I was telling him that those same foods might be the reason he wasn't feeling his best? Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. And let me explain why. See, we've all grown up with the belief that vegetables are the golden ticket to good health. And don't get me wrong, vegetables are vital. But as we age, the way our bodies process certain compounds changes. That's the part most people don't talk about. Take spinach and kale, for example. Both are loaded with oxalates, natural compounds that, in high amounts, can actually contribute to kidney stones and inflammation in older adults. If your kidneys aren't functioning at full capacity, and let's be honest, they rarely are after 60, then oxalates can start to build up and cause trouble. Another common culprit? Eggplant. It's part of the nightshade family, and for people over 65, nightshades can sometimes trigger joint pain and digestive issues. Harold loved roasted eggplant with his dinner, but when he cut it out, his stiffness began to ease within weeks. Potatoes, yes, even baked ones are another surprise. They have a high glycemic load, which can spike blood sugar and drain energy levels in older adults. Yet we're told over and over that a baked potato is a healthy choice. So no, I'm not here to scare you away from veggies. I'm here to help you understand them so you can eat smarter, not just follow blanket advice that worked for a 30-year-old athlete, but doesn't quite fit your 70-year-old body anymore. This is the first time many of my clients hear this, and it hits hard. It's shocking, even frustrating. Harold once told me, "Dr. Harris, I feel like I've been lied to." And in a way, he had been. Not on purpose, but because no one ever stopped to think maybe the rules change as we age. So if you've been following all the healthy eating rules but still feel tired, bloated, or achy, you're not crazy. You might just be following the wrong advice for your age, and I'm here to help fix that. In just a moment, I'll walk you through each of these surprise veggies, how they affect aging bodies, and what to do instead. Get ready. This is where things get real. You see, when we talk about aging, we're not just talking about wrinkles or gray hair. We're talking about something far deeper and far more personal. It's your mother, now 82, who used to walk miles every morning but now winces every time she stands. It's your uncle who seems slower these days, more forgetful, always tired. Or maybe it's you. You used to feel sharp, steady, full of life, but now something just feels off, and you can't explain why. That's the quiet fear many older adults carry. Am I doing something wrong? Is my body breaking down? And is there anything I can do to stop it? Most people don't want to talk about it. Not really. Aging is uncomfortable. It makes us feel vulnerable. But here's the hard truth. When we follow the wrong advice, especially when it comes to nutrition, we may unintentionally speed up the very decline we're trying so hard to avoid. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Margaret. She's 74, a retired teacher, sharp as a tack, with a deep love for gardening. Every day, she blended spinach, kale, and a banana for her morning smoothie. That was her routine, a power shake, she called it. But over time, her energy started dipping. Her knees ached. Her stomach bloated after meals. She thought it was just age catching up with her. When she came to me, we ran some simple tests. The results were startling. Her oxalate levels were through the roof. Her kidneys were strained. Her joints were inflamed. And yet she'd been eating what everyone said was healthy. This is where I see so many older adults fall into a hidden trap. They're trying their best. They care. They read labels. They listen to doctors. They drink their green smoothies. But the advice they're following was never tailored to them. And when your body is older, slower to repair, less able to filter toxins, those little mistakes start to matter a lot more. Margaret turned to me one afternoon, her eyes wet. "Dr. Harris," she whispered, "what if I've been hurting myself all this time and didn't even know it?" That moment broke my heart, because she's not alone. And if you're watching this, maybe you're wondering the same thing. Maybe this story feels a little too familiar. Don't worry, you're not too late. But you do need to know what to change. And that's exactly what I'll show you next. Margaret's story stayed with me not just because of her symptoms, but because of the kind of woman she is. She reminded me so much of my own Aunt Ruth, a soft-spoken woman with kind eyes who raised 3 kids, sewed quilts by hand, and made the best apple pie on the block. She lived in a quiet suburb outside of Des Moines, Iowa, in a house with creaky floors and a porch swing that groaned when you sat on it. Every afternoon at 3 o'clock sharp, Aunt Ruth would brew a pot of chamomile tea and cut up a plate of raw veggies, baby carrots, cherry tomatoes, cucumber slices, and sit down by the window to read. She believed in eating clean. She avoided red meat, fried food, and sugar. She was proud of that. But when she turned 78, we started noticing little changes. She became more forgetful. She lost weight without trying. Her hands, once so steady for quilting, trembled when she tried to hold a pen. We chalked it up to age. Everyone did. But as I visited more, I started digging a little deeper. Turns out, Aunt Ruth had read online that eggplant was a superfood, and she'd begun baking it into nearly every dinner. She also loved mushrooms, piling them into her omelets, thinking they were boosting her immunity, and she avoided salt almost entirely. thinking it would protect her heart, but in doing so, she lost precious sodium her aging body needed. Her diet, though full of vegetables, was quietly draining her energy, irritating her digestion, and, worst of all, accelerating her cognitive decline. I remember sitting beside her one fall afternoon as golden leaves fell outside. She looked at me, her voice barely a whisper, and said, "Evie, I thought I was doing everything right." I held her hand, swallowed the lump in my throat, and replied, "You were doing your best, Aunt Ruth. But nobody ever told you the rules change as we get older. That's the part that breaks my heart the most. So many older adults, good people, wise people, our people are unknowingly doing harm in the name of health. And unless we tell them, they might never know. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm telling you this story. Because someone you love, maybe even you, could be walking the same path. And it doesn't have to end that way. That quiet afternoon with Aunt Ruth was a turning point, not just for her, but for me. It reminded me that healthy eating isn't one size fits all, especially not as we get older. As we age, our bodies change in ways we don't always see or feel right away. Our digestion slows. Our ability to absorb nutrients shifts. Even the way our kidneys and liver handle certain compounds can become less efficient. That's why some vegetables, despite being labeled superfoods, can actually do more harm than good for seniors when eaten too often or prepared the wrong way. But here's the good news. Small, thoughtful changes can make a big difference. For example, instead of raw spinach, which is high in oxalates that can interfere with calcium absorption, try lightly steaming it. Cooking breaks down those compounds and makes the nutrients more available. If you love eggplant, like Aunt Ruth did, peel it and salt it before cooking. This helps reduce its naturally bitter compounds that can irritate sensitive stomachs. And as for mushrooms, enjoy them occasionally, but make sure they're thoroughly cooked and don't become a daily staple, especially for those with kidney issues. Instead of pushing for more variety, I often advise my senior clients to aim for digestibility. Choose what your body can handle best. Root vegetables like carrots, beets, and sweet potatoes, when gently cooked, are easier on the gut and rich in fiber and vitamins. Pair them with healthy fats like olive oil to boost absorption, and you're giving your body something it can truly use. And most importantly, listen to your body. Sluggish after a meal? Bloating? Unusual fatigue? These are signals, not nuisances. Your body speaks. We just have to learn how to listen with compassion, not criticism. It's okay to let go of old habits that no longer serve you. Health isn't about clinging to what we think is good. It's about learning what's right for us now. And if that sounds overwhelming, don't worry, you're not alone. That's why I created this channel, Senior Moments Matter, because your health, your story, and your well-being matter deeply. If this story reminded you of someone, your parent, your grandparent, maybe even yourself, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had a moment like Aunt Ruth's, where you realized something you thought was helping might actually be hurting? Or maybe you have a question about a vegetable or food you're unsure about. Drop it below. I personally read through the comments and love hearing from each of you. And hey, if this video helped you see things in a new light, go ahead and hit that like button. It lets me know we're on the right track together. And don't forget to subscribe to Senior Moments Matter so you don't miss future stories, insights, and tips tailored just for you or your loved ones. Let's build a community where aging is met with wisdom, not worry, where we care for our bodies and our hearts with the gentleness they deserve. So until next time, stay kind to yourself, listen to your body, And remember, it's never too late to feel better. Dr. Evelyn Harris.